Yo, it's my new house, new wall colors, I'm still getting used to it. SIMBIB! Hello folks, welcome back to Stuff I Make Because I'm Bored. My name is Sin and I will be your host, and today I want to talk about ADHD and executive functions. In my previous ADHD video, I mentioned that attention deficit hyperactive disorder is not about not paying attention or being unable to sit still. And I shared my general tips and tricks that can make living with and managing ADHD a bit easier. This time I want to arm you with the greatest weapon of all, knowledge. You may have heard people say that ADHD affects your executive functions. But what exactly are executive functions? Let's find out. As usual, small disclaimer, I am not a professional, I'm just some cat on the internet telling you about my experiences with ADHD. Part 1. Executive functions. From Wikipedia, executive functions are defined as a set of cognitive processes that are necessary for the cognitive control of behavior, selecting and successfully monitoring behaviors that facilitate the attainment of chosen goals. In other words, executive functions are certain sets of automatic brain processes that help you get stuff done. Specifically, these functions are attentional control, controlling your attention, cognitive inhibition, being able to rely on past experiences in order to better address a situation, inhibitory control, being able to control your impulses, working memory, having a functioning short-term working memory, and cognitive flexibility, your ability to switch between tasks. If you know an ADHDer, or you're like me and you have ADHD, you'll notice that all of these things are things that ADHDers are notoriously poor at. But I oversimplified them a little bit, so let's dive a little bit deeper into what each of these functions are and what they do. Part 2. Attentional control. The first one, attentional control, is pretty self-explanatory as it can be best described as concentration. It's the brain's ability to focus on a specific thing while ignoring other stimuli. A squirrel! Okay, so I moved and now I have a balcony that looks out on this nice little grassy terrace, and there's always squirrels and oh my god, birds, and dude, I should put a bird feeder on my balcony. Maybe I can make one. How to make bird feeder. Wait, what's this tab? Oh yeah, the script for this video. Where was I? Oh yes, attentional control. It describes the brain's ability to sort through stimuli, both internal and external, and adjust its behavior as needed. It allocates attention to relevant stimuli, ignores disruptive stimuli like squirrels, and it works to update and store information in your working memory. Now, if that isn't working quite right, as in the case for someone with ADHD, you end up with an excellent combination of both having trouble maintaining concentration as well as having a shitty working memory. This is why you start and stop tasks in an endless cycle without actually finishing any of them. See the bird feeder example, which was a bit for the script, but now I actually really do want to look up how to do that. Add that one to the list of projects. Mitigating this is pretty tricky, but I usually try to distract the part of my brain that gets distracted. For example, I absolutely have to listen to music when I'm driving. It's not negotiable. If I don't, I'll get distracted and stop paying attention to the road and just spend my time daydreaming instead. Yikes. But if I listen to music, then the part of my brain that gets distracted can just focus on that, and I can spend the majority of my actual attention on the road. This music method doesn't really work as well when I'm at work though, since I can't listen to music out loud when I'm at the office, and listening with headphones on makes it hard to talk to me. This is why I try not to go to the office as much as possible. For work, I keep a notebook right next to my computer with 3 different colored pens, and as soon as somebody asks me to do something, I write it down right away. Even if it was just a flag, something that I needed to keep in mind. Nothing keeps in my mind, but it keeps forever on paper. Part 3. Cognitive inhibition. The second one, cognitive inhibition, is actually a very interesting one. I said before that it's your brain's ability to decide on how to act on stimuli, but it's a little bit more complicated than that. I'm gonna do my best here to explain what it is. If I'm right, the more thorough answer is that cognitive inhibition is the brain's ability to filter through experiences and memories in order to best address a problem. Being able to filter out your own life experiences helps put yourself in someone else's shoes and see a problem from someone else's perspective. This is a key factor in our ability to empathize or sympathize with other people. And while I have been known to have a bleeding heart, this is actually something that I struggle with a lot. It's very, very difficult for me to see things from another point of view other than my own. Certain situations or outcomes just seem completely obvious and locked in stone for me. Obviously, A is supposed to happen because of B. It can't be another way. This is why I try to seek out as many perspectives as possible when I'm trying to figure out my opinion on something. That said, this function is also linked to our ability to ignore certain cravings in order to change unwanted behavior, like, for example, giving in to your cravings for sugar or Twitter. So this executive function helps your brain to moderate itself, and it works very closely with Part 4, Inhibitory Control. This one is related to controlling your impulses. This function helps us filter out what to do in response to stimuli. For example, if you see food on the table, you don't just pick it up and start. Bro, did you just eat my sandwich? No? Sorry. Seriously, if there's food on the table, I'm going for it immediately. Even my parents know this, and my mom always makes fun of me for it. I can't help it. I love food, and more importantly, I love sugar. Your inhibitory control works to screen out these impulsive actions and thoughts so that you can work on achieving the actual behaviors that you want. You see a sandwich, you don't immediately eat. Dude! So this is a bit speculative on my part, but I think the cognitive inhibition and the inhibitory control function specifically not working very well is why people with ADHD get very easily addicted or hyperfixated on something for hours and hours. These inhibitors are supposed to pull up relevant memories like, doing this in the past meant I stayed up really late and got very little sleep, which had made me very cranky in the morning. And maybe saying, hey, maybe I shouldn't open Twitter now that I'm almost asleep, because now I have to scroll through the entirety of Twitter before I'm satisfied. And instead, both of them are failing, which means that my brain only indulges in the desire for that good dopamine. Now, me being me, I've known for a long time that I very easily get addicted to things. I usually say that I've got an addictive personality, whether they be new hobbies, a TV show that I need to binge, gosh, I still need to watch Good Omens Season 2, or, Twitter. Help. Now notice that none of the things that I just mentioned have an inherent physical ability to make you addicted, maybe except for Twitter. This is why I've always had an incredibly hard line for things like alcohol, weed, etc., because I know that if I can't stop myself watching 12 hours of Critical Role in a day, then there's a sub-0% chance that I'd ever be able to break an addiction like smoking. I don't even give myself the chance. And before you guys say anything, yes, I know weed is not addictive, it's the feeling that weed gives you that is addictive. You know, the gun didn't kill you, but the bullet did. Part 5, working memory. So I thought working memory and short-term memory were like interchangeable, but apparently some folks theorize that your short-term memory is only for information storage, while your working memory is more like an active memory bank that can be used to manipulate information. The more you know. Part 6, cognitive flexibility. Well, this one's exactly what it sounds like. It's your brain's ability to be flexible. It's theorized that cognitive flexibility doesn't refer to one process, but more like a bunch of processes that all work together. These would be your mental ability to adjust the thing that you're doing and what you're thinking about, to update the methodology for whatever task you're working on and to change your behavior accordingly, and to keep a hold of multiple ideas simultaneously and switch your thoughts between them. Now, I'm very good at multitasking, but I'm honestly not sure that this is the same thing. I think true multitasking would be doing multiple things at once without actually fully stopping work on one thing. For example, cooking dinner while talking on the phone with someone, and not so much doing two things successively. You just get distracted and stop working on one and then pick up the other one and then stop working on that one and go back to the first one and etc. That's more like fully stopping a task and then starting a brand new task anew and doing that over and over and over. Like, I have a YouTube video going right now while I'm writing the script, and do you guys smell that? I was making dinner. So anyway, that's a more thorough overview of what executive functions are. Now when people say ADHD affects your executive functions, you actually know what functions they're talking about. Like I said at the beginning though, I've already done an entire video on managing ADHD. You can watch that one here. So I don't have anything to add here about managing these things. Maybe knowing these terms and what they mean can help you research what you need to gather even more info. Have you ever heard of executive functions? What are some ways that you found to help you manage task switching? This is a big one for me. Do you also work in an office, and do you have any tips on how to survive there? Honestly, I can't do it anymore. It ages me 800 years every time I have to go in. Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for spending some time with me. If you thought it was time well spent, leave a like. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this in the future. I post videos every Tuesday at noon Eastern. If you want to hear from me more frequently, and if you'd like sneak peeks into future videos, you can follow me on all my social medias. You can find the ats here and in the description. That's all from me, folks. I'll see you in the next video. Bye! SIMBIB, stuff I make because I'm bored. I'm almost fully unpacked in my new place now. It's a lot smaller, but so far, I'm really liking it. I just have to find a place for all my art.